Hello, I'm Hannah and I'm going to show you how you can add transactions to your Scribe Lite account. So once you're logged into Scribe with the menu options down the left-hand side, you would just go to Transactions and then go into Payments or Receipts. We'll use payments as an example in here. When you come into this screen, all the payments that you've entered already will be listed. So if this is the first time you've come into the screen, obviously it will be blank and you'll need to start adding in the information. To do so, you would just click the circular blue plus at the top to add a new record. You can also get to that screen directly from the menu by again clicking that blue cross. The screen will update where you can then enter in your payment information. Payments start at 1, obviously, and count up accordingly. I'm on number 4 in this example. You will need to add in the information that Scribe requests. Those with asterisk are mandatory fields. Another is information that you can add if you wish. So firstly, you will need to select the tender type. So that's whether it was an online payment, a direct debit, a standing order, payment by card, cheque, or petty cash, or a bank credit. So bank credit really only relates to receipts coming in, money credited into the bank. So in this example, we are going to select that we are making an online payment. You will then need to select the bank account that you are paying it from. So again, Scribe Lite has preset bank accounts being current, other, and savings. So you would select the one accordingly. So we're going to say we're making an online payment from our current account. Then we need to select the date. So this is the date the payment was made, not the date of the invoice, not the date you were entering it in, but the date the payment was made. So let's say we did this a couple of days ago. We can then enter in a description. So initially, there will be no descriptions available in here until you start adding information. So you would type in the description that you want to add. If it doesn't match a description already appearing in the list, it will come up with the option to create new. So just click that. When you then save this record, that description will be added for subsequent entries. Same scenario with the supplier. The ones you've already added will be shown in the list. If one you want doesn't already exist in the list, you haven't added it in, you can start typing to look for it if you wish to. You can just click the plus here. The screen will update where you can put in the information. So you need either the organisation name or the individual's first and last name at the very least. And if they're VAT registered, I'd strongly recommend that you put their VAT number in, as that will then show on the Form 126 when you want to do the VAT reclaim. So do take a look at more details on that in the VAT training session. So let's say we add in the name. It hasn't made any matches, so we get the option to create new, which will populate this. If they're VAT registered, as we said, we would just type that in, and then at the bottom we can click save. So again, this will now be available to us in subsequent transaction entries. The right-hand side fields are not mandatory, so you can enter the information if you have them. So payment reference, this could be a cheque number if you still pay by cheque. The minute reference, if you have agreed at a meeting and you want to record that. And then if you have the invoice details, I would always suggest that you put the invoice date and invoice number in to Scribe as well. Moving on, we then need to add in the payment details. So what code are we putting this transaction to and how much is it for? Again, the cost centers and cost codes are preset on Scribe, so you are choosing either a payment or receipt. So obviously in this example, we are making a payment, and then we can select from the relevant cost code from the list. So in this scenario, this would be open spaces for this one. And then we need to select the relevant VAT type. So in the drop down, you have standard, so suppliers who are VAT registered, invoiced with a VAT number on it, charging you the 20% rate of VAT. Lower, similar scenario, but 5%, that tends to be for your utilities. You also have exempt and 0, so no VAT charge, but for specifically categorised items such as postage or books. X, outside scope, relates to anything outside the scope of VAT, any suppliers who aren't VAT registered, things like salaries, bank charges, etc. And then you also have R refund, which exists purely for refunds of VAT back from HMRC. So only use it when you're adding in receipts that relate to VAT, not general refunds from suppliers. And then reverse charge isn't relevant here because you won't be VAT registered. So in this scenario, we are going to say that our supplier is standard rated. And then when we put in the amount charged, it will automatically calculate the VAT. If you need to amend that, sometimes if the penny is calculated a little bit differently, you can do so in order that obviously you get the correct total that was actually paid out. Scribe will also allow you to have multiple rows if you wish. So if you do need to show separate VAT types, or you want to code to different cost codes, you can do so by either adding a row, which will give you a blank one to add the information. The red bin will remove it. Or you can copy the row if most of the information is the same and you just want to make a tweak to the relevant line. So you can do that as if you need to, and you can add as many lines as you wish. In this scenario, though, we're going to say it's a single entry coded to open spaces, and that's the total that was paid out. At the bottom, we then have the ability to add additional details. So this is the power used for spend. If we want to flag that it was awaiting authorization, it will then show on transactions list report, and we can also add any notes against this transaction. So once we've done that, we can just click add, which will save the record into the system. We do have the option to add and repeat, which will take all the information that we've added in this payment number 4 and create again in payment number 5. So that may be useful if you were adding say a batch of invoices from the same company that had very similar information that you just wanted to tweak. But most of the time you'll simply be adding in the record as so. As we can see, that will then show in the list accordingly. And if you want to add another payment, you can just go back up to the plus and keep going. Remember that Scribe does not lock transactions, so if you need to go back into an entry, if you realise you've missed something or made an error, you can do so. So you can either just click the voucher number or go to the 3 little dots on the far right-hand side and select Edit, which will take you back into the screen. So if you need to amend something, you realise you've entered something incorrectly, you can amend it accordingly and click Save to update. You also have the option to search the information here as well. If you want to, so a quick search here, so it means a simple search of a value or a single word. Obviously I haven't got many entries in here already, but if I did and I wanted to search them, if I put in grass, for example, it will give me any matches that come back to that. The search entered here will be retained, so do remember to click the red cross when you have finished using that search icon. So this is payments. I'll quickly go into receipts just to say they work in very, very similar way. There they all are. And to add a new receipt, I would simply click that plus at the top and put in the information accordingly. So very, very similar, except of course we're recording money coming into the council as opposed to money going out.